Okay, yes. So good morning. So in last class we had discussed about Cucumber data tables. Okay, data tables with headers and without headers we have learned. So in today's class we are going to learn about tags. Okay, so the concept is Cucumber tags. Cucumber tags. Okay, so in yesterday's class we had discussed about Cucumber data tables with headers. Okay, so in this feature file, I can write multiple scenarios also. So how to write multiple scenarios? So I can go and write it like this. So you can rename it as modify skills record, and you can modify skills record. Okay, and whichever record details that you want to modify, you can mention it. And set of driver commands, unimplemented method will be generated, and set of driver commands you will write under modify skills record. Okay, so in a feature file, so for this scenario, these steps will be executed. Background key are common steps for every scenario. So prior to scenario or scenario outline, the first steps will be executed as background key steps. Okay, so that is common. So in a feature file, we can write multiple scenarios. Okay, and if you want to specify, if you want to specify, if you want to specify the scenario is belongs to which module. Okay, you can write at the rate. Okay, skills, and you can write the module name. One second. You can write the module name like this, so that someone can understand, oh, this scenario is belongs to skills module. So if you want to write it, you can write skills, and if there is one more module related to one more scenario, you can write it at the rate nationalities. Okay, and if you want to write one more scenario, you can write it at the rate jobs. Okay, so this scenario is belongs to create skills record, this scenario is belongs to modify skills, and module name belongs to skills record. Okay, right. So in a feature file, we can write multiple scenarios like this. Okay, so in a feature file, maximum we can write up to 10 scenarios. A feature file is allowed to create 10 scenarios maximum. Okay, we cannot write more than 10, but we can write up to 10 scenarios. And you can specify the group name by using at the rate. So that particular scenario belongs to which module. You can specify the group name like that. Okay, right. So in a feature file, there are 5 scenarios are belongs to skills module. 5 scenarios are belongs to jobs module. Let us assume there are total 10 scenarios. 5 are related to skills module, 5 are related to jobs module. And I navigated to my runner file. Here I mentioned test1.skills.test1.feature file. So let us assume test1.feature file contains 5 skills, five scenarios related to skills and 5 scenarios related to jobs. So through runner class file, I want to execute only related to skills module. So in that case, what I need to do is, so just you can write it like this, tags is equal to, you can write it like this, at the rate smoke, something like this. Okay, I will tell you the syntax part. So tags is equal to, you have to specify the tag name, so that while running your runner class file, only that particular group of scenarios only will be executed from that feature file. Okay, so let's go and see the examples on that. So I have a project already, Cucumber tags project already I'm having. So I'm going back to my feature file. So I told you in a feature file, I can write maximum 10 scenarios. So I have written n number of scenarios here. Going through the right. So the first scenario is related to smoke test and regression test group. The group name I mentioned, this scenario is belongs to smoke test and as well as regression test. And this scenario is belongs to regression test. And this scenario is belongs to smoke test. And the feature name is the feature what I am automating e-commerce application related scenarios feature. And I mentioned at the rate functional test. I mentioned at the rate functional test. So by default, every scenario, it comes under functional test. So even if I don't specify explicitly here, this scenario comes under functional test. No need to specify again. Okay. So every scenario, it comes under group name as functional test. So here, okay. So this scenario is belongs to under which group now? At the rate functional test, because I haven't specified, I specified globally here. So all scenarios are belongs to functional test. And here this scenario is belongs to smoke test and regression test. And this scenario is belongs to regression test. This one smoke test. And this one functional test. And this scenario is belongs to smoke and end to end. So like that I mentioned, this scenario is only belongs to end to end group. Okay. So in this feature file, there are scenarios belongs to smoke and regression, only belongs to smoke, only belongs to regression, and only belongs to end to end. So these are the categories of group names are available. So in the runner class file, I will specify tags is equal to, see here, tags is equal to within the curly bracket, I specified the group name, so that only smoke test related group of scenarios will be executed. Okay. So okay, let me run my runner class file. So the runner class file was changed now. So let me run my runner class file. Tags is equal to at the rate smoke test. Okay, I have written. Yesterday we have written blue is equal to up to here we have written. After that, just you need to specify comma and tags is equal to you have to specify this syntax like this. So let me run my runner class file. Run as JUnit test. So this runner class file was developed by using JUnit. Run as JUnit test. So my runner class file got executed, and let me expand this one. So if you see here, I'm going back to here. So in my runner class file, I mentioned only smoke test related scenarios has to execute. First one is successful login. Successful login. This scenario is belongs to smoke test. It's got executed. Add a product to bag. Add a product to bag. This scenario is also belongs to smoke test. And add multiple product to bag. It's not executed because it's not come. Smoke test, remove a product from a bag. This is got executed. And increase product quantity from bag page. This is got executed. So if you expand this one, you can able to see that is got passed and it is showing. So like that, wherever smoke test, buy a product with the CC payment, that is got also executed. Understood everyone? So right. So through runner class file, I did only one change, this at the rate smoke test. Okay. So now let's go to the detailed documentation. In the best documentation for Cucumber is tools QA tags. I'm pressing tools QA tags. Tools QA Cucumber tags. So I'm clicking on this first link. See, this is the scenarios. These are the list of scenarios in our feature file. And the moment when I will click tags is equal to at the rate smoke test. One second, let me expand. So when I will write tax is equal to @smoke test, only smoke test related scenarios got executed. Okay. And if I will write to tax is equal to end-to-end, only end-to-end scenarios will be executed. If I will write @functional test, what will happen? Every scenario by default it belongs to. See, all the scenarios got executed. On the left hand side, there are output report, it is displayed here. Okay, all the scenarios got executed because every scenario by default it comes under functional test. So here I mentioned @smoke test, comma @regression test. So if the scenario comes under either smoke test or regression test, let it execute. That is the meaning. So our condition. So that means smoke test, this will be executed and this will be executed because it comes under regression. This will be executed and this won't be executed because this does not comes under smoke test or regression. So it won't be executed. This will be executed. This will be executed and this will be executed and this won't be executed. So whichever comes either smoke test or regression test group, those scenarios only will be executed. So just you have to specify comma. Comma means our condition. Okay, right. So in the runner class file, we mentioned @smoke test, comma @regression test. Suppose if I will specify like this, tax is equal to @smoke test, comma @regression test. Previously, our condition, now combination of smoke test and regression scenarios only will be executed. If a scenario, it has to belongs to both smoke and as well as regression, then only. So if you come to here in my feature file, this will be executed because it is a combination of smoke and regression. This won't be executed. This won't be executed. This will be executed. So like that, whichever is combination of smoke test and regression, those only will be executed. @smoke test, comma @regression test. So previously our condition, just you have to specify like this. One second. So everyone is clear. Okay. So our condition is like this, and condition is you have to write it like this, comma @regression test. So combination of smoke test and regression only will be executed. So what does this mean? Let's execute all functional test cases except smoke test cases. So see here the developer had mentioned a tilde symbol. If you observe here, let's execute all functional test cases, but don't execute which are belongs to smoke test. That is the meaning. So here the developer, so we have mentioned a tilde symbol. So we can call this symbol as a tilde symbol. Tilde means don't execute smoke test. So except for smoke test cases, let's execute all functional test cases. So in the interview, particular people are asking this question. I want to skip particular group of scenarios. How to skip? Okay. So @functional test, comma tilde symbol, and we have to specify the group name so that that particular group of scenarios will be ignored from the feature file. Okay, this is the only question people are asking in the interface. Okay, right. So what does this meaning according to this? Don't execute smoke, don't execute regression, don't execute end-to-end. Okay, so that means what are the scenarios it will be executed? See here, there are only 2 got executed. Let's verify this. So if the scenarios belongs to smoke, regression, end-to-end, don't execute. So this will be executed or not? No, this one, no, this one, it will be executed because this does not comes under smoke, regression, end-to-end. These 3 also it won't come, and this will be executed. So those two only it's got displayed. If you don't want to execute particular group of scenarios, just to specify tilde symbol at the rate group name. Okay, tax is equal to, within the curly brackets, you have to specify the tilde symbol and you have to specify the group name. Okay, what does this mean? What does this mean? Tax is equal to at the rate functional test. So let's say execute all functional scenarios except smoke, except regression, and except intent. That means, so yes, the previous two scenarios got executed. Same. So like that. So everyone is clear how to execute specific group of scenarios in a feature file. Okay. So this is the best website, tools.cucumber tags. So in case, what are tags? In the interviews, people are asking what are tags? Tags. So in the feature file, we can specify the group name above the scenario, above the feature. So you can specify global group name, whatever it is. I have mentioned functional test. So if all scenarios comes under a specific group name, you can specify globally. So by default, each scenario comes under that, in that group. And if you want to specify the particular scenario belongs to a specific module, you can also specify that. Okay, so like that. And if you want to execute this particular group of scenarios, in the testrunner.java class file, tags is equal to, we can specify the group name. Okay, to execute specific group of scenarios, we will use tags. That's it.
What is smoke?
Smoke test, it's a group name. Previously, I have mentioned skills. You can write a group name whatever you want according to your application. Suppose here I want to write at the rate jobs. My application group name I had given like this. You can give group name whatever it is. The scenario is belongs to whichever module. Group name you can give whatever you name. Got it, everyone? Right. So these scenarios are belongs to this group name. This scenarios belongs to this group name, like that. All right. So that is the concept of Cucumber tags. Okay, now let's go to another thing. Cucumber hooks. Okay, now let's discuss about hooks concept. Hooks. Tags are used to execute specific group of scenarios from a feature file. Hooks, what is a hooks? Okay, now let me tell you. Let me go to my feature file. So prior to scenario, previously, which section it's got executing every time? Previously in our feature files, prior to our scenario, what are the, which section got executed? If you go to here, Cucumber data tables with headers. If you see here, prior to scenario or scenario outline, what section steps are executing? Background key. Because background key steps will be executed first, and after that only scenario steps are executed. Okay. So first these two steps, and after that these steps are executed. So prior to every scenario or scenario outline, background key steps are executed. Okay, let's come back to. So prior to background key also, I want to execute a common code for all the scenarios. I want to execute a common code for every scenario. Prior to launching of Chrome browser also, I want to execute some piece of code for all the scenarios. So in a feature file, I'm having 5 scenarios. For all the 5 scenarios, okay, the background key steps are executing first. Prior to every scenario, background key steps are executed. Prior to background also, I want to execute globally. So like this. So first hooks will be executed. Next, background key steps will be executed. Next, scenario or scenario outline. Steps will be executed. And after that, in hooks, there are two concepts. before and after. Okay, so prior to background key, before before hook will be executed globally. After the scenario, after hook will be executed. After hook will be executed. Understood? So for another scenario, so this is for one scenario, and in a feature file, I am having scenario one, scenario one, and in the same feature file, I am having scenario two. Let us assume scenario two. So like that. So hooks will be executed globally. Hooks will be executed globally prior to background key section. And at the end of scenario, again after hook will be executed. So we can define hooks is a common snippet of code. Hooks is a common snippet of code. It will be executed before and after for every scenario. So in the interviews, they are asking what is hooks. Hooks is a common snippet of code, common snippet of a code. It will be executed before and after for every scenario. So that is the definition we have to tell. So now let's see how to implement hooks in Cucumber. Going back to Cucumber hooks. Okay, going back to Cucumber hooks. So here I have my nationality feature, one scenario like this. And if I want to write one more scenario, I can write it like this. I can write up to 10 scenarios. Okay, so let us assume prior to scenario, I want to execute hooks part. Okay, so what I am doing is I am going back to my src test Java. I'm going back to my src test Java. So under step definitions.java class file, we have already step definition.java class file. Let us assume we have already step definition.java class file. Apart from that, I am having hooks.java class file. I have created a public class hooks. So I have created a Java class file like this. Go to new and click on hooks one. So I have created a Java class file like this, hooks one, and I'm clicking on finish. So like this, I have created a hooks.java class file. In this hooks.java class file, I have written a method at the rate before and at the rate after. So here, whatever code you will write in this method, you can give method name whatever you want. Method name is so you can specify the method name by using at the rate before, and you can specify the method name at the rate after. Okay, so what will happen? These lines of this method will be executed before hook will be executed prior to these steps. Prior to these steps, this snippet of code will be executed and displayed in the console. And after that, these three steps will be executed. And after that, at the rate after hook, this will be executed. Okay, let's run my runner class file. So there is no need to specify any connection in the runner class. Okay, if the hooks.java class file is available in your package, automatically the hooks will be validated. Okay, you no need to specify go to runner class and hooks is equal to, you no need to specify any configuration. Just you can create hooks.java class file and run the runner class file. So now let's go to the runner class file, testrunner.java class file. Okay, so here I haven't mentioned tax is equal to, I haven't mentioned anything. So that means I'm not bothering about any group of scenarios. So whatever, all the scenarios will be executed. So now let's go to the runner class file and do run as JUnit test. Okay, so this is the scenario got executed scenario. This is the, where is that? This scenario is to test the functionality. This is the one. Let's expand this one. So these three steps got executed. Okay, let's go to the console part. These three steps got printed on my console. So this is the, for this step, this is the method was already implemented in step definition.java class file. And this, for this one, this line of code was written. And for this one, this line of code was written. So these three steps, prior to these three steps, see this line was executed. This will run before the scenario in the hooks.java class file. So this will run before the scenario. So prior to these three steps, okay, at the rate before hook got executed. Okay, and at the end of the scenario, this will run after the scenario. This is got executed. Understood, everyone? So if I want to write one more scenario, okay. This is one and this is two. Okay, I have written. So prior to this scenario also again steps will be that hook will be executed. Let's go and run the runner class file. So here this will run before the scenario and these three steps got executed and this will run after the scenario. And now let's come back to the second scenario. So this will run before the scenario it's got executed and again these three steps got executed and again at the rate after hook got executed. Understood, everyone? So simply apart from step definition.java class file, so here I mentioned hooks underscore steps. Instead of giving step definition.java class file, I had mentioned like this. Okay, so you can give step definition.java class file. You can give whatever class file you want. So here I mentioned hooks underscore steps. Instead of step definition.java class file, I mentioned like this. So in this hooks.java class file, before and after scenarios got executed prior to scenario and after the scenario. Okay, right. Let's go to the Cucumber hooks. Tools QA is the best website for Cucumber. Okay, so now let's go to this one. So this is the scenario, and before and after these are the this is the okay. Where is that? So just now we have seen at the rate before and at the rate after. Okay, we had seen. Okay, 1 second. At the rate in the hooks.java class file, we had seen at the rate before and at the rate after. And these are the unimplemented methods got generated, and this is the lines of code was there in step definition.java class file. So these are the unimplemented methods got generated first time, and these are the lines of code was written in the hooks.java class file. Okay, right, guys. So we can call this one as a global hooks. Before and after, we can call it as a global hooks. So that is what in the console output he is showing. Now let's come back to test hooks with multiple scenarios. So I have just now I had shown multiple scenarios. So it has been executed like this we had seen. Test hooks with example scenarios. Okay, 1 second. So scenario outline. So prior to scenario outline also for every set of input data hooks will be executed. So just now we had seen Cucumber hooks. In hooks there are three types. One is global hooks at the rate before and at the rate after. Simply in our hooks.java class file, we have written two methods and method name you can give whatever you want. So simply if you write at the rate before, this is we can call it as a global hook. So it is applicable for every scenario before and after. So if you want to, the next one is tagged hooks. Tagged hooks means, so where we are giving the tag name, group name in the scenario. Prior to scenario, we have written at the rate group name. Okay. So now let's come back to what is tagged hooks. So what is this scenario is belongs to which group? First group. This scenario is belongs to second group. This scenario is belongs to third group. So there are three groups. So in my step definition.java class file, all these methods got generated and I have written a corresponding methods implementation. And at the rate before and after, these we can call it as a global hook. So before the scenario and after the scenario, this is good. And here I have written at the rate before and prior to this group name, prior to this group, let's execute this snippet of code. So that means first this scenario got executed and after that this is got executed. Okay, let me verify, let me check. So first tagged hooks will be executed. So tagged hook means, so coming to the first scenario, this is the tagged hook. This will run only before the first scenario. So first this code will be executed, tagged hook. So because I mentioned tagged hook, let's execute this snippet of code first. And after that, this code will be executed and scenario steps will be executed. And after that, these scenarios at the rate after scenario will be executed. So, and if there is at the rate after, so finally this will be executed. This will run only after the scenario. So if you'll come to output here, so these three steps got executed. This will run after the scenario. And finally, the tagged hook got executed. Understood the sequence? So tagged hook is executing first. After that, global hook. Okay. And after that, scenario steps. So global hook got executed. Okay. And finally, tagged hook got executed. So this is the order it's executing. Okay. So in a hooks.java class file, we can write tagged hooks like this. Understood? If you want to execute specific group. Hello? చెప్పండి 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 అవును గుడ్ మార్నింగ్ చెప్పండి ఒక పని చేస్తారు నాకు 11:15 అప్పుడు కాల్ చేయండి యాక్చువల్గా ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్ చెప్తా ఉన్నాను సో ఇప్పుడు మీకు అర్థమైంది కదా ట్యాగ్డ్ హుక్ అంటే సో ఇన్ హుక్స్ వాట్ ఆర్ ద డిఫరెంట్ టైప్స్ ఆఫ్ hooks are available? They are asking this question. Okay, one is global hook, tagged hook, we understood, and last one is execution order of hooks. Okay, one second. హలో అమ్మ క్లాస్ అయిపోయిన తర్వాత కాల్ చేయండి ఇప్పుడు క్లాస్లో ఉన్నాను నేను ఒక 1 అవర్ తర్వాత కాల్ చేయండి Okay, now the third concept is test hooks with multiple scenarios. Okay, so one second. This is we already tested. Common tagged hooks for multiple scenarios. So this is the last one. Okay, in the hooks, common tagged hooks for multiple scenarios. So if you want to specify two group names at a time, you can also specify like this, at the rate first and at the rate first. So this is, we can call it as a tagged hook. So prior to at the rate first group of scenarios, this code will be executed, and prior to third scenario, this snippet of code will be executed. After that, global hook will be executed. Understood? So this, if you are writing like this, we can call this one as a common tagged hooks for multiple scenarios. Understood? So these are the three types of hooks are available. So here in this project, I had given only global hook only. Okay. So tagged hook means you can refer in the documentation. That's it. Okay, understood. So that is the concept of hooks. So in the interviews, people are asking about tags and hooks. Tags means to execute specific group of scenarios. So what kind of questions people are asking means in a feature file, how many number of scenarios that I can write maximum? I can write maximum up to 10 scenarios. If you want to specify a scenario belongs to which of the group name, just you can write at the rate more. So the scenario is belongs to this group name just by specifying the at the rate group name. So that, and if you want to specify at the rate skills, you can specify the group name so that that scenario belongs to under that group. If you want to specify a global group name, just you can write it here at the rate. If you want to specify regression, so all the scenarios by default comes under regression. If you want to write it functional, you can write it. So every scenario by default, it comes under functional group. Again, you no need to mention at the rate functional test, at the rate functional test for every scenario. Okay. So in the test.java class file, we will write tags is equal to group name. How to ignore specific group of scenarios? So by specifying the tilde symbol. Okay, tilde symbol at the rate, and you have to specify the group name. And what is a hooks? They are asking in the interviews. To hooks means it is a common snippet of code. It will be executed. Okay, prior to every scenario. In the interview, they are asking this question. Prior to every scenario, hooks code is executing. Hooks will be executed before the background key or after the background. They are asking this question. So hooks means it will be executed on the top list. Prior to background key, hook steps are executing. Okay, hook means it will be executed first. After that, background key steps got executed. After that, scenario steps got executed. After that, at the rate after hook is executed. If it is tagged hook, then tagged hook is executing first. After that, global tag is executing. And after that, background key steps. And after that, scenario steps. And after that, global tag is executing. Finally, at the rate after tagged hook is executing. Okay, so like that, hooks and tags will be executed in Cucumber. Okay, so in Cucumber hooks and tags, you no need to do any hands-on, just run the concept and go through this documentation, these links. Okay, so you can go through, if you want to understand the documentation, just refer this documentation. So there is no specific labs and exercises that you have to do. Okay, so what are the different types of hooks they are asking in the interviews? So there are mainly three types of hooks. One is global hooks, tagged hooks, and multiple what is that? Common tags. Common tags, common tagged hooks. Okay, common tagged hooks for multiple scenarios. These are the three types of hooks are available in BDD Cucumber. So that's it on the hooks and tags. Okay, let me keep these two Cucumber hooks and tags. Oh, not bad. So you can download it from here. Okay. Okay, the next, so in Cucumber, so far, what are the projects we had seen? Cucumber scenario we had discussed. Okay, and Cucumber scenario outline we had seen. Okay, Cucumber data table with header and without header. So these are the scenarios we did. Okay, and the next one is Cucumber tags. Tags means to execute specific group of scenarios. Cucumber tags we had seen. Next, Cucumber hooks. And last one is Cucumber POM. Cucumber POM. POM means page object model design pattern. Okay. So what is this POM background? I will tell you in today's class, and we will do the, because POM is a connectivity subject, I have to tell freshly in the new class. Okay. So just I will give you the page object model design pattern.
This is last.
Cucumber POM is the last one. And again, in one class, I can cover all these labs. When one class along, so while doing practice, everyone you can keep your laptops and do the practice along with this. Okay. So Cucumber POM. POM means, so in Selenium, there are two types of design patterns. Two types of design patterns. There are two types of design patterns. One is page object model design pattern. And second one is page factory model design pattern. Okay, so these are the two types of design patterns. We can use in Cucumber POM any of the approach we can use to automate the test cases. So in page object model design pattern, what is this meaning is, suppose if you are automating test1 underscore skills dot feature file, tc01 underscore skills dot feature. So this feature file contains login page, and you are navigating to skills page, and finally you are coming back to home page and you are clicking on welcome and logout. Okay, so you are, so to automate this test case, you are navigating to different pages. One is login page, second one is skills page, and finally in the home page generally we will do logout. So login page and skills page and home page. Okay, so we will create a package name in SRC test Java. We will create a package name called pages. The package name is pages. Under this package name, we will create three Java class files. One is login page.java class file, and another one is skills page.java class file, and another one is home page.java class. Okay, right. Login page contains login page related method only. Login method. It contains only login related method. So public void login method and set of driver commands we will write. Now skills page contains go to skills page or go to skills page or add skills method. These two methods are there. And home page contains the method logout. So the set of driver commands are available under corresponding Java class file. So I will create public class login page. In that class, I will write a method public void login method, and that login method contains only set of driver commands to login method. And coming to skill space.java class file, there are two methods: public void go to skill space. So I will write set of commands only related to go to skill space. And I will write one more method, public void add skills. Enter skill name, skill description, and click on save button. So skill space.java class file contains only skills related methods. Suppose in future there is in the skills page modify skills method, if it is coming, I will add it in this Java class only. Okay. Suppose in future delete skills functionality came, so I will add it here only. Okay. And if login page contains some more other functionality, reset my password. So I will write that method in this class only, reset my password. Got the point? So every Java class file, so for every page, for every web page, we are creating corresponding Java class files. For every web page, we are creating corresponding Java class file, and that Java class file contains only that page specific methods only. So this approach we can call it as a page object model design pattern. Previously, so far in our programs, all methods in the step definition.java class file, which contains login method, it contains skills method, it contains add skills method. So all methods are available under step definition.java class, but we haven't written like this. Okay, so this approach we are going to see in tomorrow's class. In the real time, people are following this approach. Okay, so for all exercise we did, project to project might be they will follow different approaches, but most of the cases people are following this kind of approach. Suppose you are automating a web page, let's create a Java class file for that web page. So if somebody has written already created a page, your job is you need to go and create method in that class file. Don't create another same Java class file. Your job is simply you have to create one more method in that Java class file, and you have to write set of driver commands. So what is the page object model design pattern? In the interviews, people are asking by default question in the Selenium interviews. For every web page, we will develop corresponding Java class file, and that Java class file contains corresponding methods of that page. So login page contains login, reset password, forgot my password. These methods only it contains. And skill space contains add skill space, go to skill space, search skills, delete skills. Only skill space contains skills related methods only. And home page contains logout. Okay, so like that. Suppose if in my application there is jobs functionality is there, let's create one more class file jobs.java. So this class file contains add jobs, search jobs, modify jobs. Suppose you are automating a modify jobs. Let's go and write set of driver commands in the jobs.java class. Okay, delete jobs like this. So this is the final project part. Okay, so how this approach we are, so how these methods I will call in the step definition.java class file, we will see in tomorrow's class. Understood everyone? Okay.